Hello everyone, welcome back to Believer Science Academy. This is daily news analysis session. In this session, we will be discussing important articles from various newspapers. The first article from today is from the Indian Express, the Hindu and major newspapers are covering. That is, Prime Minister unveils genome data of 10,000 Indians, which is a milestone in India's biotechnology. So, PM Narendra Modi announced successful completion of Genome India project, unveiling the sequencing database of 10,000 Indians. This data will be available at Indian Biological Data Center. This is a significant achievement which marks a pivotal moment in Indian biotechnology. Then, before you understand before you understand Genome India project, we have to understand what is genome sequencing. For that, we need to understand what is human genome. Okay, in human cells, genome is the complete set of DNA in the nucleus of every human cell, containing the genetic blueprint of development and functioning. Okay, composed of approximately 3.05 billion base pairs formed of mainly 4 bases, that is adenine, cytosine, guanine, thymine. Okay, if it is DNA, then it will be A will be coding with T, G will be coding with C, that is adenine with thymine, cytosine with guanine. If it is an RNA, instead of thymine, you will be having uracil. Okay, then genome sequencing is, we said that in DNA it will be coding. Okay, there will be coding ATGC, 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 ATGC. Okay, sequencing is like you are identifying the sequence. Okay, you are just identifying the sequences from complete genome, that is sequencing. Within genome sequencing, there are two types. One is structural, another one is functional. Structural, functional. In structural, you are just going to code all the genome sequences. You are going to try all the genome sequences irrespective of whether they serve a purpose or not. Whereas in functional genomics, once you already made a sequence of human genome, then you are going to identify a particular sequence or particular sequence of genome which has a particular function. That is, a particular sequence is coding for a particular protein. Example, a particular place in the DNA will have the capacity to code for your eye color, code for your hair color, code for your height, etc., etc. Studying these particular places or particular sequences is called as functional sequencing. Okay, deciphering the order of base pairs in DNA to decode the genetic footprint of an individual is called as genome sequencing. The differences in genomes between humans provide insights into unique traits, diseases, susceptibility, and drug reactions. Okay, we can see that between the human beings, a person is tall, a person is short, a person is brown, a person is fair, a person is yellowish in color, person is black in color, and other things varies. Okay, as the person is varying, his genome sequencing is also varying. Then we can compare and contrast the genome sequencing, and we can identify who is more susceptible for which kind of diseases. So the common method is next generation or next gen sequencing method for rapid and cost effective sequencing. This method has been used in India Human Genome Project as well as Genome India project also. So at the global level, there was Human Genome Project which was introduced in 1990. This global effort mapped the entire human genome. The latest version was released in 2023. Now facilitates whole genome sequencing to identify individual genetic variations. Okay. So at the Indian level, there is Genome India project. It was approved in 2020 by the Department of Biotechnology. The project seeks to sequence the genomes of over 10,000 Indians from diverse regions. Aims to establish a reference genome for India's population. Significance is that understanding the genetic diversity, meaning India's population of 1.4 billion includes around 4,600 population groups, many of which are endogamous, preserving unique genetic traits. Then chronic disease insights, meaning it helps to study the diseases such as diabetes, hypertension, cancer, and neurodegenerative disorders. And it also helps in studying or making precision medicine or targeted medicine, that is customizes drugs and therapies to suit Indian genetic variations. Okay, so we already discussed the benefits. Then the benefits of Indian genetic makeup, or studying the benefits of Indian genetic makeup, includes identifying the genetic risk factors. For example, MYP-BPC3 is a mutation which is linked to early cardiac arrest, and it is prevalent in 4.5% of the Indians, but it is very rare globally. Okay, once you identify the mutation among Indians, you can do the genetic counseling, and you can ask the individuals having MYP-BPC mutation to not mate with another person where there is a possibility of having an offspring who again possesses this mutation. Okay, and then there is LAMP3 mutation, which causes a severe skin condition which affects nearly 4% of Madurai, okay, in the Madurai region, but it is absent at the global level or Indian level. Okay, by studying this, you can make the genetic makeup or genetic risk factors of a particular population and community. And it is also important in advancing targeted treatments, that is development of mRNA or fourth generation vaccines and therapies for diseases unique to Indian population is also possible through this one. And it is improving the drug safety and efficacy or efficiency, identifying genetic variations that affect drug metabolism. Through this, we can improve the efficacy of the drugs. Example, in certain South Indian Vaishya community members, they lack a gene for processing anesthetics, leading to potentially fatal outcomes. Okay, they cannot process anesthetics. As a result, whenever there needs to be a surgery, they have to go through a hard way. Okay, anesthetics, whenever you are induced with anesthetics, it makes you go into deep sleep, and as a result, you will be able to conduct surgeries on your body. Since they lack a gene for processing anesthetic, they have potential fatal outcomes. Then, so about the genome data of 10,000 Indian members, who is it available and for who can access it is, the about data is, the data genomes is about 10,000 Indians from 19 populations. The total capacity is of 8 petabytes of data, which is stored at Indian Biological Center. Then access framework is, it is not open source, it has a managed access, meaning not available to everyone. It is available only to research institutions which are partnering with the Department of Biotechnology. And then anonymization. Also, there is a multi-layered encryption to ensure privacy and prevent misuse. The future implications includes, it facilitates a personalized medicine, we already discussed. It strengthens biotechnology and biopharma sectors, which is driving innovation in healthcare. So this is about Genome India project and that news. Moving on to the second article, it is from the Indian Express, which talks about representations of persons with disabilities rules of 2017. There was a Supreme Court judgment, it deals with that. So the article reads, we need accessibility rules that are based on the principles of what? Principles of Representation of Persons with Disability Act of 2016. This comprehensive analysis of Supreme Court judgment in Rajiv Uraturi versus Union of India 2024 and its implications for accessibility laws in India outlines several critical considerations and reforms. So we'll see what are the key outcomes or highlights of Supreme Court judgment. The Rule 15 of RPWD Rules 2017 was struck down by the Supreme Court. That is, this rule focused on awareness campaigns but lacked enforceability. Okay, since it lacked enforceability, it came in conflict with the Representation of Persons with Disability Act of 2016. Okay, how? This was struck down for being incompatible with the mandatory provisions of RPWD Act 2016, which requires definitive action. Okay, in order to improve the conditions of persons with disability, the Act outlined or formulated that there needs to be definitive action. Whereas this rule, it focused only on awareness campaigns, but it lacked enforceability. Meaning, since it is lacking enforceability, it is not a definitive action. As a result, Supreme Court struck down this rule. Supreme Court also said that there should be mandatory accessibility standards. That is, existing discretionary guidance such as barrier-free environment codes were rendered ineffective. Then, government was also directed to establish minimum mandatory accessibility standards within 3 months. So deadline has been set by the government, sorry, the Supreme Court. So Supreme Court also talked about evolving understanding of the accessibility and the debate between accessibility and reasonable accommodation. So what is accessibility? It is based on the universal formula. It ensures universal standardized inclusion from the outset, whereas reasonable accommodation, it addresses specific individual needs when the gaps remain. Okay, court said that both accessibility and reasonable accommodation should be met in persons with disabilities. Okay, these concepts are complementary and are grounded in substantive equality. In order to achieve substantive equality, you need to have both accessibility as well as reasonable accommodation, because within a person with disability there are very wide variations. Okay, a person can lack a hand, a person may be blind, a person may be mute, etc., etc. So you have to devise formulas such that it is accommodative of everyone. Then also court talked about face reasonable accessibility realization. That is, you cannot achieve the realization, sorry, you cannot realize complete accessibility within a single lifetime. So you need a phased approach. It said that should be implemented through a phased approach, addressing immediate needs first and evolving over the time. So example, it quoted Canada's model, which is aimed for full accessibility by 2040 with the periodic reviews. Then sliding scale for minimum standards. It said that establishing a baseline for minimum standards that progressively expand over the period of time, as well as incorporating advanced solutions like artificial intelligence and Internet of Things. It also differentiated between immediate and long-term goals. That is, immediate interventions should be focusing on critical areas such as healthcare, education, and transportation, ensuring direct benefits while progressing towards universal accessibility as a long-term goal. So court also said that there needs to be structural and procedural reforms as per social audits and accountability. That is, section 48 of the RPWD Act mandates regular social audits. The challenges of regular social audit include lack of standardized guidelines and insufficient auditor training. Therefore, there is a need for clear, consistent audit processes for actionable insights. Court also said that there needs to be simplification of accessibility rules. That is, earlier guidelines suffered from the bureaucratic complexity and interministerial conflicts, so now needs to be a democratic basis as well as consensus based manner. And there needs to be a nodal authority such as Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment to oversee the coordination and adjudication. Court also focused on broadening the scope of accessibility. That is, accessibility extends beyond physical infrastructure to societal attitudes and prejudices. Education and awareness campaigns are vital for addressing tangible barriers. So the digital accessibility are rapid technological advancements require standards to evolve consistently, such as adherence to updated WCAG for websites and mobile applications. Then India must balance global best practices with the unique needs of its own population. Okay, even though it is following the global best practices, but they should be unique for India's own population. And then court also called for urgent action. That is, it set an urgent deadline. That is, Supreme Court's direction to draft new guidelines within 3 months reflects urgency for reform. It also called for inclusive collaboration. That is, participation from diverse sectors such as finance, technology, transport is critical for developing holistic and inclusive accessibility standards. Then dynamic and principle based approach framework. That is, a framework rooted in principles for inclusion, periodic reviews, and effective social audits will ensure adaptability in sustained progress. So this is about the article. Next, sorry, this has been repeated again. Third article is about gold imports. There has been a discrepancy in the calculation of gold imports. So that has been adjusted. So the article reads, government revises gold import data amid discrepancies in trade figures. Okay. So Ministry of Commerce and Industry recently revised the India's gold import data from November 2024, correcting an overestimation of 5 billion. So this adjustment has reduced the reported trade deficit and shed light on the challenges of data accuracy and raising concerns about the reliability of India's trade statistics. So the key highlights include there were error in reporting gold import reporting. So why there was error? The causes include data migration issue, okay, because the errors arose during the transition of data from special economic zones online or SEZ online to Indian customers electronic gateway. And there was also double counting, that is imports into special economic zones and clearances to domestic tariff data areas were counted twice. As a result, there is a discrepancy. Now the revised data says that gold imports have been reduced from 14.8 billion to 9.9 billion, and the total trade deficit reduced from 38 billion to 33 billion. Then, the article also deals about technical transition and the related challenges. That is the migration to ice skate. It introduced the streamlined export-import declaration for ease of doing businesses, but the transition issues arose due to the separate data streams from SEZ Online and IceGate. Okay, the aim of IceGate was to bring a streamlined export-import declarations for ease of doing business, but because there are two separate data streams from SEZ Online and IceGate, it led to the migration of data. Then persistent technical glitches, that is platforms initially captured mutually exclusive data which caused discrepancies, okay, and ongoing reconciliation efforts aim to ensure consistency and accuracy. So the broader implications are that it has raised credibility concerns, that the think tank Globe Trade Research Initiative cautioned that frequent revision harm the reliability of economic statistics. Okay, you shouldn't revise the economic statistics because it is going to harm the credibility and it is going to reduce the trust of policymakers. It is going to reduce the trust of investors in a particular country. And there is also potential for broader incidents. That is, experts recommend proactive reviews of trade data to address inaccuracies which might have happened before or which might happen in the future. Apart from this, there are global gold import trends and reverse data significance says that India is the world's second largest gold consumer, which heavily depends on the imports to meet domestic demand. The major suppliers to India are African nations, Peru, Switzerland, and United Arab Emirates. The market impacts of the revision that it has resulted in policy stability. That is, revised figures elevated fears of import duty hikes. Okay, now that the 5 billion has been reduced from the import duties or import charges or imports, the fear of import duty has been reduced. Then grey market shift, that is duty reduction in July encouraged official import channels, reducing the smuggling. Export growth, gold jewelry exports are expected to exceed 12 billion by 2025. So there have been positive implications, but in the long run, this should not be continued, or this should not be regular. It should not be a regular happening. Then Z-More Tunnel, which is a strategic connectivity between Kashmir and Ladakh. Z-More Tunnel is a key infrastructure project in Jammu and Kashmir, poised to become a major milestone in building an all-weather strategic corridor between Kashmir and Ladakh. Prime Minister is set to inaugurate the tunnel soon, okay, which is emphasizing the significance of this tunnel. So key features are, it is located or situated between Gagangir and Sonmarg on the Srinagar-Leh highway, which is the National Highway 1 in Jammu and Kashmir. It is named after Z or Z-shaped road section near the construction site. Specifications are, it is of total 6.5 km length. Design, it has a 2-lane road. Capacity can accommodate over 1000 vehicles per hour at the maximum speed of 80 km per hour. It includes 426-meter long escape tunnel and 0.6 km long ventilation tunnel. And traffic management, it is equipped with intelligent traffic management system to control and facilitate traffic movement. So it is a very hi-fi, like modern tech tunnel we can say. So one more thing is, there is no toll tax will be levied on the vehicles within the tunnel. So it is again a relief to users also. So what was the need of Z-More tunnel then? Why it was needed was, it was needed to address the high altitude challenges. That is, the tunnel is located at an altitude of over 8,500 feet, making the region prone to snow avalanches during the winter, cutting off accessibility to Sonmarg and surrounding areas. As a result, the tunnel was necessary to reduce these avalanches, not the reduce avalanches, to reduce this access to Sonmarg. Okay, reduce the chances of reducing the access to Sonmarg. Then it also aimed at year-round connectivity. It is essential for keeping Sonmarg accessible even during the harsh winters, boosting local tourism and trade. Okay, whenever there are avalanches, all the roads will be filled with snow, etc., which reduce the connectivity. So this is aimed at reducing those instances of lower connectivity. So strategic importance is it provides all-weather access to Ladakh, ensures year-round connectivity to Ladakh, which has immense strategic and logistical significance for India. Then it also provides military mobility, very important, especially in the backdrop of India and China clashes in the border, as China is focusing on building infrastructure at the border areas. This comes as a good good move from Indian government also. It is vital for movement of military personnel and equipment to border areas along the line of control and along the line of actual control in the east. Then it is a complementary infrastructure, that is, it works in tandem with Zojila tunnel to the east, bolstering connectivity and defense deadlines in the region. So that is why this Zedmore tunnel becomes very important. You should remember where the location of it, and you should remember what parts of the Jammu and Kashmir it connects. Then there is an article in the Business Standard, Down to Earth. It deals about Ebola virus. So there is recent development about Ebola virus, that is, researchers have developed the first nanobody based inhibitors which is targeting the Ebola virus, which is a significant step towards combating the deadly viruses. First we'll understand what is Ebola, then we'll understand significance of nanobody inhibitors. Ebola is a severe, often fatal disease caused by viruses belonging to Ortho-Ebola virus family. It was identified in 1976 near the Ebola River in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Occurrence, it is found mainly in the sub-Saharan Africa, which is affecting the humans and other primates also, primates such as gorilla, monkeys and chimpanzees. Transmission, it can transmit naturally also. Naturally the hosts are fruit bats or believed to be the natural reservoirs of the Ebola virus. Animal to human spread, it is a zoonotic disease. Yes, it can spread from animals to humans when you are in close contact with the blood, bodily fluids or organs of infected animals. Introduces the virus into humans population also. Then there is a human to human spread also, communicable. It spreads from human to human with direct contact with body fluids such as blood, saliva, urine, etc. Symptoms of Ebola, the symptoms appear from 2 to 21 days after the exposure to, and the symptoms include, the early symptoms are fever, fatigue, muscle pain and headache. Advanced symptoms are diarrhea, vomiting, rash, internal and external bleeding, and the fatality rate is approximately 50%, though this varies by outbreak and treatment. So then the treatment and management, there is no known cure for this one, very important, no definitive cure for Ebola. However, there are certain approved treatments are there. The treatments are aimed at treating the symptoms, such as FDA approved monoclonal antibody which treats for Ebola Zaire strain, Inamzeb or Ebanga. These are a combination of 3 monoclonal bodies and a single monoclonal antibody which have been approved by FDA, that is USA FDA. But there is supportive care available, that is maintaining the fluid and electrolyte balances, administration of blood and plasma to control bleeding, early treatment and immune responses for critical for recovery. Okay. Now, what is significance of nanobody based inhibitors? Nanobodies are very small in size, that is 10 to the power minus 9 meters or micrometers. No, but nanobody based inhibitors represent an innovative approach for treating the Ebola by offering targeted inhibitors of virus. Okay, when there are targeted inhibitors of virus, it will inhibit the virus and it will stop the virus from expressing itself and resulting in the expression of disease itself. It enhances potential for affordable and scalable treatment options. Okay, this development could revolutionize the fight against Ebola as well as fight against many other diseases which do not have any treatment. You can also develop nanobody based inhibitors for those diseases also. So These are the important articles which I wanted to discuss in today's art class. If you like the video, then please hit the like button, comment on the video, and also share with your friends. If you are new to the channel, subscribe to the channel and also click on the bell icon so that you don't miss any notification. With this, I will end the video. Jai Hind.